Hey, how's it going? If you're new here, my name is Jan and I love makeup. And if you're not new, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate you. Today's video is part 2 in the eyeshadow palette declutter thingy that I'm doing. I have over 200 eyeshadow palettes from, minis to full size. So I think we're gonna have to do this in 3 parts. I already did part 1, which I did a total of 74 palettes. I decluttered 37 and kept 37. I will, of course, link that below in case you want to check it out and you haven't seen it yet, as well as this makeup look. This video is also live. I did a chatty get ready with me for my birthday. So let's just jump right into part 2 of this eyeshadow palette declutter. If I'm being honest, I did count how many eyeshadow palettes were in front of me, but I completely forgot because it was like an hour ago. So let's just tuck right in. We'll go with this top one, which is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette. This is the original, and I have to say, regardless of what we think about Jaclyn Hill or Morphe, this is a very good palette. I will definitely be hanging on to this. I did get the Vault from Jaclyn Hill years ago and decluttered it, but this one is really good and worth keeping. So she's staying with me. Let's go on to Manny. So Lunar Beauty, 12 Days of Lunar. This was the new release for the holiday that he did. This is nice. It is brand new, so I'm gonna hang on to it and we'll see how often I reach for it. And I have the Eternal Eclipse palette. I did get the blind bag mystery box that he did earlier in the year, and this came in that box. This is a very nice palette. I like it a lot. Very, dark, which I also really like. So I'm gonna hang on to this one. And in that same box was the Moonspell Volume 2. I know I've used this. In fact, I used it in a Throwback Thursday. I just went through all the Throwback Thursday videos I did because I'm trying to plot and plan what to do with my channel this year. So this is what the inside looks like. Really pretty. The reds aren't as red as I want a red to be, but it is very nice. And since I've only used it a couple of times, I'm gonna hang on to it and see if I use it a few more times before I decide what to do with it. Next and last from Lunar Beauty is the Nude Prism palette. This is the brand new one before the holiday release. I didn't get this when it was released, and I did think it looked really nice. I'm trying to open the box. But it's a nude palette, and I have a lot of nude palettes. So I didn't get it. And then I signed up for the Busy Beauty mystery box. It's amazing, and I have to get on it. I want to do another one so badly. With the holidays and all of that, I just hadn't been able to. But the reason I said all of that is because this came in that mystery box. So I haven't had a chance to use it yet. When I did get it, it was October, I think. And I got a lot of holiday makeups in that I needed to use. So I am excited to use this. I've heard great things about it as far as like a neutral palette goes, so I'm pretty excited to try this out. These next 2 palettes, I have the Violet Voss Pro eyeshadow palette in Taupe Notch, which looks like this. Absolutely beautiful. Oh my gosh, this just gives me all the feels. And I have the HG. These I purchased because of Tati, so that was years ago. And again, it's just a fantastic palette. Oh, I don't know what to do with these two. These never even entered the equation when I thought about doing a declutter. We're going to put this in a maybe pile for now because these are really, really good palettes and they are very old. And do I have newer stuff in my collection that is probably the same? Most likely. So we'll burn that bridge in a minute because I'm really not sure. I have this one from Violet Voss, is the All of You Forever. Super cute palette. A friend of mine gave me this. I really like it. I don't reach for it. So I'm probably not going to keep it in my collection. And I have the Violet Voss Essentials, another really cute palette. And the quality on these is really, really good. I just don't reach for them. I have so much, and these don't draw me in like I think they maybe once did. And I have the Violet Voss, the Rainbow eyeshadow palette. This was a gift from my friend. It's beautiful. Well, and this was a gift years ago. And at the time, it was fantastic. I'm just not sure. And I have this Pinky Promise still in the box. I've never used it. This was also in a mystery box, perhaps. So let's take this out and take a look at it. Okay, very cute, very neutral. And I can't speak to the quality of these smaller palettes, but I know the bigger pro ones are fantastic. While I was gathering all of these palettes together, I was thinking about what I would do with the ones I declutter. And you may or may not know this about me, but I have a lot of kids in my life. My nieces, my nephews, grandbabies, I've got a lot. And they like to come over and go into Nani's makeup room and play makeups. So I think I am going to keep several eyeshadow palettes for them. Does it make sense? That way they're not reaching for my Nomad or, you know, like my top shelf most favoritist eyeshadow palettes. So I think I'll declutter them out of my collection that I use and just kind of keep a baby friendly stash for them. So I will probably hang on to a couple of the Violet Voss ones. Definitely this one and the Essentials if I end up decluttering them, because I want the babies to use good makeup, but not my favorite makeup. And I think I am going to declutter these two Violet Voss Pro palettes. With what else I have, it makes sense, right? I don't know. Oh my gosh, get it together. You know what, if it takes this much thought, I am going to hang on to the two Violet Voss Pro palettes for now. I have room for them. I'm going to hang on to them. I would rather hang on to them for a little bit longer and not use them than declutter them and wish I had them back. So I'm not being forced to get rid of anything. This is what I want to do. So having established that little rule, jeez Louise. Okay, next up we have the Morphe 35M. When I got this palette, I really did like it a lot. I think that it is a lovely color story. It's humongous. So I'm going to declutter this one as well. I don't reach for it. There's no sense hanging on to it. And I have the Magic palette from Juvia's Place. I had another one that I decluttered, and funnily enough, my daughter played with it this morning and is wearing it today. And I'm gonna declutter this one as well. Look at those pan sizes. They're humongous. I don't ever reach for this. I did when I first got it, and I really, like, I had a lot of fun with that palette. So nice memories, but I don't reach for it. It's gotta go. Now we have some Dominique Cosmetics, and this is the Latte palette. This is so pretty. So you have that one. We have the Latte 2. So pretty. And I have the Berries and Cream. I think I'm gonna hang on to the Berries and Cream and the Latte 2 and declutter the Latte. And I have this Lorelei Los Angeles Nudie Patootie. I had the cat's pajamas as well. I used this in a Throwback Thursday, I believe. It ended up really liking the look. I'm gonna keep it. I can, it's okay. Again, not being forced to get rid of any of this. All right, I think the Violet Voss Rainbows palette is going to survive this declutter. I'm not prepared to get rid of it, so that means I should hang on to it for whatever reason. Next, we have the Melt Gemini 2 palette. I just got this in the Melt mystery box. I can say I don't think it's like the most amazing palette ever. I liked the look. I'm not sure I have a whole lot in my collection that would dupe this, so I'm gonna hang on to this one for now. As well as the Ozzy Osbourne and Rock and Roll Beauty palette. This was surprisingly pretty darn good, and I suspect Mike would be heartbroken if I decluttered this already. So I'm gonna hang on to it. It was fun to play with, and I can see me reaching for it again. So that one can stay. All right, now I have this Mini Pro Palette Volume 3 from Beauty Creations. This is brand new. I haven't used it. It looks really pretty. It looks like I swatched this shade and this one, but actually it does look like I used it. There and there. Did I use this? It looks like I did, so I must have. I'm gonna declutter it. If I don't remember using it, it's probably not worth hanging on to. Next, I have the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. This, I really wanted this. My daughter got this for me one year for either Christmas or my birthday, and I liked it. I don't love it, and I haven't used it. I'm not going to. It's getting decluttered as well. And then there's this one. It's the ZC in the British Museum, and this was the We're All Mad Here palette. I used this one time. That's it. I haven't reached for it since. So I'm gonna declutter it. Oh dear. There's an avalanche of eyeshadow palettes. Okay. Oh, please. Okay, avalanche completely fixed. Let's just keep on going. I have the Ofra and Samantha March Life's a Draft palette. It's pretty. I just never reach for it. I'm gonna declutter it. And I have this 80s Baby by Pinky Rose. This was a BoxyCharm purchase, and it looks like I never used it. So I'm going to declutter this one as well. And then I have this Drop Dead Gorgeous Full On Crazy from BH Cosmetics. Never used this one either. This shade is broken. The plastic's still on there and everything. So I guess that one's gonna go as well. More Dominique Cosmetics. We have the Celestial Thunder. This was a BoxyCharm palette as well. I'm gonna get rid of this one. And then we have the Transitions palette. Again, this was a BoxyCharm thing as well. And the quality of this was really, really good. It's supposed to be like a can do it all kind of palette. And I did do a full face with this palette when I got it, just to see if it was possible. I think I might hang on to this one. It maybe does kind of serve a purpose in my collection. We have the Rose Quartz from Huda Beauty. I just used this in a Throwback Thursday. Beautiful palette. I don't reach for it often, but it is something a little different than what I have, what other things I have in my collection. So I'm gonna hang on to that one, I think, for now. And then we have the Mercury Retrograde palette. This one's really pretty too. I really did like this one. So this one can stay. And I have the new nudes. This is really pretty too. I will say I don't reach for this one. There's two pressed glitters that I just wouldn't use. So I think I'm going to declutter this one. That feels good. And I have this Sigma Disney Princesses Cinderella palette. This is actually really nice. I don't know why I don't reach for it more. I'm gonna keep this in my collection. I think that maybe I should use this. So I'll have to do that. All right, we have the Still Pretty from September Rose. This palette is so pretty, and I loved the message behind it. She created this for her mom. I think that was amazing, but I don't think the quality was that good. Sorry, September Rose, but I'm gonna declutter this one. And now I have a whole pile of Ace Beauté palettes. Now, none of these are new. So my understanding is they've reformulated, but these are all of their old palette. So this is the Grandiose palette. Super cute. The quality in these I thought was great. I'm gonna let go of it, but I really did like these palettes a lot. And then I have Vintage Dawn. That looks like a lot of fun. I might have to hang on to that one. That looks like a fun color story. All right, you can stay. And then I have Scarlet Dust. Nope, not Dust. Scarlet, what? And I have Scarlet Dusk, not Dust. What do you look like? Oh, that's really pretty too. And I've never used it. What is wrong with me? That's beautiful. She can stay. I need to use that before I decide whether or not she can go. That's really pretty. We have the Slice of Paradise, still Ace Beauté. I'm not drawn to this one. It's very primary color heavy, which is fun and fine, but I haven't used it. I'm probably not going to, so it can go. And then we have the Ace Beauté Nostalgia palette. I know I've used this. Again, really, really pretty. And then we have the Flare palette. Really pretty. Oh, and the Oceanic palette. I honestly think all three of these need to stay. These are really, really pretty. And I know I've used this one a whole bunch. So yeah, these are gonna stay. Yep, I have them. I know I like them. I should keep them, play with them. So we have the Glam Light Wine palette. I think I've only used this twice. I need to use this again. For sure, that one's gotta stay. And then I have the Glam Light Cupcake palette. I kept the packaging because it opens like a little oven, which is just silly. But there you have it. Sometimes I'm silly. Sometimes, most of the time. And it's got little like sprinkles on there. And there's the color story. I think I'm gonna declutter this one. Yeah, I feel good about that. So, and like I said, some of these will stay, you know, in my room for the babies, but just not in my collection where I'll be reaching for them. Okay, we are down to the last batch for this video. And it looks like it's very BH Cosmetics heavy. So let's start. We have the avocado toast. If you're new here, I love BH Cosmetics, and this is a fantastic palette. The quality is just, it's right up there with anything else you may think is amazing. And I have the blueberry muffin. Again, absolutely fantastic quality. These are definitely staying. And then I have the Shan XO and BH Cosmetics. This is the remix. So this was the original eyeshadow palette side, and the other side was a lipstick, but now it's this very colorful color story. So this is staying. This is just memories. I think it might be the original one. Might have been my very first BH purchase, period. And then I have 4 out of the 5 Sweet Shop palettes. I have the pistachio, which is green, of course. So good. Oh my gosh, these are so good. I have the cotton candy, which is, I believe, pink and purple. Yep, pink and purple. So pretty, man. I have the orange sorbet. You guessed it, it's orange. And I have the bubble gum, which is blue. This is so good. Look at that. Such fun blue eyeshadows. So all of those are definitely staying. You probably figured that out. And then I have the, this is Party in Puerto Rico. I haven't even opened this yet. But I'm gonna hang on to it because this is, again, one of BH's amazing qualities. So I'm gonna keep that one. And then we have Lost in Los Angeles. This is, in my opinion, the hands down, the best pastel palette to have ever been created. This is so good. And I have a Nomad pastel palette that I also really, really like. And the Lost in Los Angeles is fantastic. Passion in Paris. This palette just gives me all the feels. So pretty. And then I have Hanging in Hawaii. Again, this is another very neutral palette, but the quality is fantastic, which makes me wonder why I'm hanging on to it. Because I need to know, I just need information, and having multiple brands to refer to is probably a good thing, just in case somebody wants to know. All right, next we have a bunch of Profusion. So I have this basically a rainbow palette. I have the emeralds. I have most of the rubies, minus one that's very broken and missing, and the mauves. I know I used the mauves in a Throwback Thursday and it was very, very good. So I think I'll keep the ruby or the emeralds and the mauves. I feel like those would be pretty good. Although, should I hang on to the Spectrum. It's a rainbow palette. Okay. Never even swatched it. But this could be, yeah, I'm gonna hang on to this because this could be a really good one to pair with just a shimmery duochrome, multi-chrome palette or singles. So yeah, I'm gonna hang on to this one. It's like I'm just going to get rid of the rubies, which is broken anyway. So it does look really pretty though. All eyeshadow looks really pretty to me. And I have the ColourPop and Powerpuff Girls. I used this once and the quality was great. There was no way I was touching the two glitter shades, but the rest of this was fantastic. I am going to declutter it out of my collection, but put it with makeups the babies can use because it's good quality. And if they're gonna play with eyeshadow, I want them to have good eyeshadow. And then we have the Hip Dot and Clueless. I have used this. It was very nice. I'm obviously not getting rid of it. It's Clueless and it has a faux fur front. So that one will probably go to the grave with me. And then I have this Hip Dot Zion palette. I know Hip Dot has kind of become the brand that just collabs with nonsense, but look at this color story. It's so incredibly beautiful. I'm gonna keep this one. And then we have the Cenote, C-E-N-O-T-E. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. And look at that. Another beautiful palette. I've obviously used this one a bunch. And it makes me feel good when I look at it, so I must have liked it. So I'm gonna hang on to this one. Let me get a tally and I'll come right back and tell you what's the what. Okay, the final tally for today's video is I'm decluttering 20 and keeping 40. Again, I have to say, that feels pretty darn good. It means the majority of what I have, I want to keep and use more. So that's really cool. And just to be clear, like these aren't going in the garbage. I'm gonna rehome these palettes. Like I said, some for the babies and the rest will, you know, my daughters, their friends, like I'll find homes for these eyeshadow palettes. So they're not being thrown away. I would never, oh my gosh. So there you go. That wraps up part 2. Do I have the time and the energy to film part 3 right now? I might. I feel like I'm kind of on a roll. So if I decide I can, you'll see this whole look again for part 3. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Be good and remember to be kind to you.